Okay, so we've been enjoying playing with the Canon EOS T5i so much, we almost forgot to do the review. We've been doing all sorts of other video reviews with it. So we've been having a lot of fun, which speaks to how cool the camera is. Let's get into the features of it. It's got an 18 megapixel CMOS APS-C sensor, 14-bit A/D conversion. It's got an ISO range of 100 to 12,800, and that is expandable to H25600. It's great for shooting bright to dim light and high performance Digic 5 image processor that's inside of it that gives you exceptional image quality and speed. It's got high-speed continuous shooting up to 5.0 frames per second. It's got a 9-point all-cross type AF system. Gives you an exceptional autofocus performance when shooting with the viewfinder, and the hybrid CMOS AF increases your autofocus speed when shooting photos and videos in live view. The EOS Full HD Movie Mode with the Movie Server AF for continuous focus tracking of moving subject. You've also got manual exposure control and multiple frame rates. At 1080, you're looking at 30p. At 24p, you're also at 1080, and you got 25p. When you go to 720, you're looking at 60p, 50p, and at 480, you're looking at 30p and 25p. It's got a built-in stereo microphone, manual audio level adjustment, and video snapshot with editing for expanded movie shooting options. Pretty darn cool. It's got a vari-angle touch screen 3.0 clear view LCD monitor on the back, approximately 1,040,000 dots with smudge resistant coating, features multi-touch operation. I love that thing. Touch AF for an easy intuitive experience, flexible positioning, and clear viewing when you're outdoors. It's got a scene intelligent mode that delivers expertly optimized photos and offers improved scene detection for amazing results shooting at night. And let's see, it's also got a handheld night scene mode, HDR mode, basically these advanced imaging features, HDR backlit control mode, 7 creative filters that you can display in real time, kind of like a bit of an Instagram, if you will. Pretty cool. It's got multi-shot noise reduction, which provides outstanding noise reduction and preserving previous detail at high ISO speeds, compatible with all your memory cards that are pretty much out there when it comes down to it, including your ultra high point or high speed cards, and it's compatible with the full lines of Canon EF and EF-S lenses. Pretty cool. The sensor in here is what's really important, and of course the ISO and the Digic 5 image processor that makes it so you can shoot really quick and get everything going on. So let's take a look at this baby. We'll walk around it. We've had a really good time, like I said, with it. Let's go ahead and start from the front as to what we have on it. Now, you've got, of course, your shutter button that you can take and utilize here. You've got your red eye reduction self-timer lamp up front. You've got also in the grip here, you've got your remote control sensor, and you've got, of course, the grip. You've got your mount for your lens and all that good stuff. Up here on top, you have the ISO speed shutter. We'll flip this over in a bit and show that to you. On the camera itself, you've got the autofocus and manual focus switch you can turn on and off. You've got stabilizer on and off. Stabilizer works really good. Now, of course, over here, you have your flash button. You have your, of course, your release and lock mechanism for the lens in and of itself. And then at the bottom, you've got your depth of field preview button right here. Around the side here, let's take a look. You've got these two pop-offs. One is the area for the for your remote control. The other is your mic area, and then you've also got your audio-visual out for digital and HDMI output. This makes it really nice if you want to plug this into a TV or an HDMI monitor that you can take and utilize that with. So you've got plenty of room to be able to do everything you need to. Let's roll around the back here. Now on the back, you've got your memory, your info button. You've got, of course, your video button that you can take and use for live video shooting. You've got your dioptric, I can never say this right, your dioptric button, this one right here, of course, that you can adjust. And you've got several different features. You've got your AE lock, FE lock button, index reduce button. You've got your The other button that we can use is AF point selection and a magnifying button. These are great for using with the viewfinder. Now, one thing I really love about the Canon T5i is this viewfinder that pulls out. At first I was a little reluctant to play with it because I was like, it feels a little cheesy, like kind of like a VCR sort of thing, but it is awesome. We'll get into that some more here as we go along. Now, we also have your of course, your LCD monitor. It's also a touch screen, which is really nice. Let's make sure we make that point. Also over here we have the live view starting button. You can press this button to start and stop live video. You can also use it when you're in photograph mode to switch between viewing through here or viewing through the viewfinder. So very good that way. Now we have our aperture exposure compensation button right here. We have the quick control button, and it's also the direct print button, as you can see there in blue. Down at the bottom we have a playback button, and we also have an erase button. So this is really good on the fly to be able to play back your videos and erase them. Of course, you can zoom in on them up here and do different things, and you can zoom out, etc., etc. Small speaker over on this side, and there's a small red lamp here that activates that can tell you when different things are going on with the camera. Basically activity sort of settings, if you will, and I believe it flashes while the video mode is active. Now, there's some cross keys here. We've got some settings you can go into. We have the white balance selector button. We have the picture style selection button, which is this one here. We have the drive mode selection button over here, and then we have the autofocus operation selection button right here. So that kind of gives you a rundown. I wish the speaker were a little bit louder. There is some volume control up front for the Canon. Of course, does have a pop-up flash so you can take and utilize. It's good for your basic lighting situations. Of course, if you want a really good flash system, you can buy the Canon flashes that will mount to the hot shoe. The screen's pretty awesome. We'll get into that as we come back to it. One thing I do like, though, about the screen is you can fold it over to face inward, so I don't have to worry about scratching it as much when I'm transporting the camera, and it gives some protection to that image screen, where with other Canons, you have that screen exposed, and you either need to be concerned about protecting it, or you need to be concerned about doing other things. What is nice is it spins around, so you can face forward to whoever is on the front part of the camera. It makes great for selfie shots, or for me, if I'm at a convention, I'm speaking, I love how I can fold it forward and see what's going on. And then, of course, I can fold it this way, and I can also, by folding it this way, fold it back into the camera and have your normal experience that you would take in half. Let's take a look down the other side of the camera. You got your place where you have your micro SD card that will go into the unit, and then of course on the bottom you have your battery compartment, and you also have your tripod mounting area, if you will, there. Let's take a look at the top of the camera. Go through the buttons here. Now you have three main settings. You got your on, off, and then going into video mode. So that makes a difference there. Up here you've got your ISO button. Across the top we have your microphone that's over here. We also have your main dial that's here, which works great for menus, taking up the volume, etc., etc. You've got your hot shoe, of course. You've got your dial where you can dial through several different mode functions. Okay, so one cool feature of the dial that you can go through different program modes on the T5i is it actually goes around 365 degrees, so you don't have to dial back if you want to go to another setting. You can just keep going round and round, which is really nice to take and have. Now you have your scene intelligence auto mode here. We'll go through these step by step. We have your flash off mode. We have your creative auto mode. We have the portrait mode. We have the landscape mode. We have a close-up mode. We have a sports mode. There's a special scene mode, and within that you can have night portrait, handheld night scene, and HDR backlit control. You also, of course, have your manual exposure, your AV aperture priority, your shutter priority, AE, and your program AE. All the different settings you can take and do. Okay, so one of the things I really love about this, the back screen, is that you can take and, like I said, adjust it so many different ways, front to back. It's great for shooting at angles, like if you want to go down low, you can turn the screen upwards towards you, or if you want to shoot high, you can turn it downwards, so you don't always have to be looking through the viewfinder, which is really, really nice. So let's take a look at several of the different menu options you can have here. Of course, you can see how many different pictures you can shoot given the format that you're putting it in. You can see your battery level here and everything else. I really like this where it has everything on a touch screen where you can utilize it. And this really helps, I think, newer people that are newer to SLRs and they're kind of learning about what all the buttons are. Maybe they're not a professional photographer. What's also cool too that really helps people that are kind of newer to cameras, and that's probably why this makes a great camera for them, is as you rotate the knob around the different settings, this thing gives you an idea as to what they are. So it can really help beginners and people that are novices to photography and SLRs in being able to understand, okay, so what does this setting do? What does that setting do? I remember when I first got into photography, it was like all Greek to me. So it's really nice that they put this in there where you can find out more about what the settings do and everything else. So you can see here some of the different things that we can take and do. There's a whole lot of settings in here. You can format the cards, auto rotate, select folders. Everything is all touch based, which I really love. It's really awesome just to be able to go through, touch what you want, do what you want, and easily get out of it. So you can see here some of the different settings we have: image review, red eye reduction. You can easily go through these and change whatever you want on the fly, which is really, really nice. You've got the creative filters too that are there, where you can take and go into images and create and make different filters and stuff. Let's see, you've got different other settings you can do here, more settings across the bar, etc., etc. Very, very cool stuff. Now in the creative filters setting, you can take and do all sorts of different adjustments. You've got grainy black and white, you've got soft focus, fisheye effect, art bold effect, water painting effect, toy camera effect, miniature effect, all these different effects you can take and do. And so you can take and add these to your photo, set them, see kind of in real time how they might come out, etc., etc. And you know what the effects are, what you might want to do with these. So kind of cool on the different filters and different things that you can take and do with it. So this once again kind of comes back to people that are maybe beginners or novice in the photography business, where they kind of want that effect that they might get with their phones or whatever, where they can add some sort of Instagram type effects. And it's not too bad. It's really cool. The great thing about the camera also is that you can easily switch between your eye function and going to look through the viewfinder, or you can press the button and you can start seeing using the screen. So you can switch between the two of them, and of course you can flip the button to go to full video mode. Okay, so another cool feature of the T5i is you can take and in the creative auto settings you can have some more control as to what goes on with the camera, etc., etc. They've got some interesting settings in here where you can have a standard setting. You can control your shots to get more vividness, soft, warm, intense, cool. Again, something that's a little bit easier for beginner or novice photographers to take and utilize. You can see here you can do some adjustments here with it, but it gives a little bit more creative control than just the automatic functions, but doesn't quite put you to the point of a professional photographer where you're adjusting the f-stop and everything, and you've got to figure out all the good stuff to do. One of the great features of the viewfinder, of course, is that you have total control at looking at your pictures and editing them and stuff, and of course flipping through the pictures with just a single swipe. And of course you can take and see whole categories of photos, or you can focus in on stuff and see how it's looking, etc., etc. Really love the feature of being able to take a look at the photo you just took and see if it's even going to work, or if you've got it in the right frame and picture and focus and everything else. You can easily erase them too. There's also a print feature here where you can plug this directly into a printer and you can print from it. So All in all, I'm very impressed. I really like it. I think it's a great camera, especially for beginner and novice photographers. It's got a great body to it. I have very big hands. I think for most average hands, they'll be very comfortable with the Canon the way it is, especially with the lens kit. What I would recommend doing, if you have bigger hands and you want maybe a little bit more stabilization, you can take and get the battery pack, which I did for the Canon, and I really enjoyed shooting with the battery pack, and it just kind of feels better in my hands. But I have 9-inch span hands, so that's really up to you and how big your hands are and how comfortable you feel with it. So if you get the camera and you feel that maybe you need a little bit more weight or stabilization, sometimes that helps offset whatever lens you're using on the front. You can take and get the battery pack, and that will make a huge difference for you. So be sure to check it out. You can go to Canon.com, that's Canon.com, and get the EOS Rebel T5i. Tell them Chris Voss saying it. Chris Voss tested, Chris Voss approved. Be sure to check into the ChrisVossShow.com often for all the latest and greatest, and watch for all the camera gear we'll be reviewing and all the cool bags and all that good stuff. So really love the camera. I think it's a great camera, especially for beginner and novice, especially at the price point that it's at. And I love the Canon cameras. I love the layouts of them and the buttons and how it has their menus and everything else. Really comfortable and intuitive. Thanks for coming by the ChrisVossShow.com. Be sure to check back often.